Have you ever felt like you're constantly chasing after something, but it always seems just out of reach? Maybe it's that dream job, the perfect relationship, or financial success. We're often told that if we just work harder, push ourselves more, and keep pursuing our goals, we'll eventually get what we want. But what if I told you that this approach might actually be holding you back? Today, we're going to explore a powerful idea that goes against everything you've probably been taught about success. It's a concept that might seem strange at first, but it has the potential to completely transform your life. This wisdom comes from Louise Hay, a remarkable woman who changed millions of lives with her spiritual teachings. The idea is simple, yet revolutionary. Never pursue anything. Instead, embrace something far more powerful. I know what you're thinking. Never pursue anything? But how will I ever achieve my goals? Don't worry, we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about why this approach is so life-changing and why it might be exactly what you need to hear right now. Before we dive deeper into this mind-bending concept, let's take a moment to understand who Louise Hay was and why her teachings are so important. Louise Hay wasn't always a world-renowned spiritual teacher and author. In fact, her early life was filled with challenges that would have broken many people. Born in 1926, she experienced abuse as a child, dropped out of high school, and became a single mother living in poverty. But instead of letting these hardships define her, Louise used them as stepping stones to discover profound truths about life and healing. In the 1970s, Louise began exploring the connection between our thoughts and our physical health. She developed a philosophy that emphasized the power of positive thinking and self-love. Her groundbreaking book, You Can Heal Your Life, published in 1984, became an international bestseller and launched her career as a spiritual teacher and motivational speaker. What made Louise Hay's teachings so powerful was their simplicity and accessibility. She didn't use complicated jargon or require people to follow strict rituals. Instead, she offered practical, easy-to-understand advice that anyone could apply to their daily life. Her core message was that by changing our thoughts and beliefs, we can transform our lives and even improve our physical health. Louise's work has touched millions of people around the world. She founded Hay House, a publishing company that has brought countless self-help and spiritual books to readers everywhere. Even after her passing in 2017 at the age of 90, her wisdom continues to inspire and guide people on their personal growth journeys. One of Louise Hay's most powerful and perhaps controversial ideas was about the nature of pursuit and how it affects our ability to manifest what we want in life. This brings us to the main topic of our discussion today: why we should never pursue anything and what we should embrace instead. Now that we understand a bit about Louise Hay and her background, let's explore why she believed that pursuing our goals might actually be counterproductive. Think about the last time you really wanted something. Maybe it was a promotion at work, a romantic partner, or even just a material possession like a new car. How did you feel when you were chasing after it? Chances are you felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. You probably spent a lot of time thinking about how great it would be when you finally got what you wanted, but you also worried about what would happen if you didn't get it. This is the problem with pursuit. When we're constantly chasing after something, we're living in a state of lack. We're telling ourselves and the universe that we don't have what we want. We're focusing on the absence of our desire rather than its presence in our lives. Louise Hay taught that this approach can lead to several problems: stress and anxiety. When we're always pursuing something, we're never satisfied with where we are right now. This can create a constant state of stress and anxiety as we worry about whether we'll achieve our goals. Negative self-talk. If we don't get what we're pursuing, we often blame ourselves. We might think, "I'm not good enough," or "I don't deserve success." This negative self-talk can damage our self-esteem and make it even harder to achieve our goals in the future. Missing the present moment. When we're always focused on some future goal, we miss out on the joys and opportunities of the present moment. Life becomes a constant race towards the next thing, rather than an experience to be savored. Attracting more lack. According to the law of attraction, which was an important part of Louise Hay's teachings, we attract what we focus on. If we're constantly focusing on what we lack, we'll attract more experiences of lack into our lives. Feeling of powerlessness. Pursuit often puts the power outside of ourselves. We feel that our happiness and success depend on external factors that we can't control, rather than recognizing our own inner power. These problems can create a vicious cycle. The more we pursue, the more stressed and unsatisfied we become. The more stressed and unsatisfied we are, the harder we pursue. It's like trying to catch a butterfly. The harder you chase it, the more it flies away. So if pursuit isn't the answer, what is? Louise Hay suggested a radically different approach, one that might seem counterintuitive at first, but has the power to transform your life. Instead of pursuing what you want, she taught that we should embrace a completely different mindset. We'll explore this alternative approach in the next section, and you'll learn how to apply it to your own life for amazing results. Now that we understand why pursuing our desires can be counterproductive, let's explore the alternative approach that Louise Hay suggested. This approach is both simple and profound, and it has the power to completely change how you interact with the world and manifest your desires. Louise Hay believed in the power of allowing. This means instead of chasing after what we want, we create the conditions for it to come to us naturally. It's about trusting in the universe, or God, or whatever higher power you believe in, to bring us what we need, when we need it. This might sound a bit abstract, so let's break it down with a simple metaphor. Imagine you're trying to catch fish in a river. The pursuing approach would be to jump into the water and try to grab the fish with your hands. You might catch one or two, but you'll probably scare most of them away and exhaust yourself in the process. The allowing approach, on the other hand, would be to sit quietly by the riverbank with your fishing rod. You create the right conditions. You choose a good spot, use the right bait, and then you wait patiently. The fish come to you. This is how Louise Hay suggested we approach our desires in life. Instead of frantically chasing after what we want, we create the right conditions in our minds and hearts, and then allow our desires to come to us. But how exactly do we do this? It all starts with our thoughts and beliefs. Louise Hay taught that our thoughts create our reality. By changing our thoughts, we can change our lives. This brings us to the first key principle of her approach. The first important idea in Louise Hay's teachings is the power of positive affirmations. An affirmation is simply a positive statement that you repeat to yourself regularly. It's a way of reprogramming your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. This works because our subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. When we consistently feed it positive messages, it begins to accept these messages as truth. This, in turn, changes our beliefs, our actions, and ultimately, our reality. For example, let's say you want to improve your financial situation. Instead of constantly worrying about money and thinking, I never have enough, you might use an affirmation like, I am open and receptive to all the wealth life offers me. By repeating this affirmation regularly, especially when you first wake up and just before you go to sleep, when your subconscious mind is most receptive, you begin to shift your mindset. You start to notice opportunities for abundance that you might have overlooked before. You feel more confident in your ability to handle money wisely, and gradually, your financial situation begins to improve. It's important to note that affirmations are not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect when it's not. They're about focusing on the positive possibilities and trusting that things can and will get better. Louise Hay suggested using affirmations in the present tense, as if what you desire is already true. So instead of saying, I will be successful, you would say, I am successful. This helps your mind to accept the affirmation as a current reality rather than a future possibility. Remember, the key with affirmations is consistency and belief. It might feel strange or even silly at first, but if you stick with it and truly open yourself to the possibility of change, you'll likely be amazed at the results. Another crucial point in Louise Hay's teachings is the importance of self-love and acceptance. This might seem unrelated to achieving your goals, but it's actually fundamental to the allowing approach. When we truly love and accept ourselves, we stop seeking validation and fulfillment from external sources. We realize that we are already whole and complete, exactly as we are. This doesn't mean we stop growing or improving, but it means we do so from a place of self-love rather than self-criticism. This principle works because when we love ourselves, we naturally align with positive energy. We attract good things into our lives because we believe we deserve them. We also become more resilient in the face of challenges because our self-worth isn't dependent on external circumstances. Think about your relationships with others. When you're around someone who clearly loves and accepts themselves, don't you find them magnetic? They exude confidence and positivity. The same principle applies to your relationship with the universe. When you love yourself, you become a magnet for positive experiences and opportunities. Here's how you can start practicing self-love today. Speak kindly to yourself. Pay attention to your inner dialogue and replace critical thoughts with compassionate ones. Take care of your body, eat nourishing foods, get enough sleep, and engage in physical activities you enjoy. Set healthy boundaries. Learn to say no to things that don't serve you and yes to things that do. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. Practice forgiveness, both for yourself and others. Spend time doing things you love and that make you feel good about yourself. Remember, self-love is not selfish. As Louise Hay often said, you have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. By cultivating self-love and acceptance, you create a strong foundation for allowing good things into your life. You no longer need to pursue external validation or success because you already feel worthy and complete. From this place of wholeness, you can allow your desires to manifest naturally. The third key idea in Louise Hay's teachings is the power of letting go. This might seem hard at first, but it's actually a liberating practice that can bring more peace and abundance into your life. Letting go means releasing your attachment to specific outcomes. It doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals or desires. Instead, it means you trust that the universe has a plan for you, and that plan might be even better than what you've imagined for yourself. This principle works because when we hold too tightly to our desires, we create resistance. We become anxious, stressed, and frustrated when things don't go exactly as we planned. By letting go, we open ourselves up to unexpected opportunities and solutions. Here's how you can start practicing letting go today. Set your intention, but release your attachment to how it manifests. Trust that the universe has your best interests at heart. Focus on the present moment instead of worrying about the future. Practice gratitude for what you already have. When you catch yourself obsessing over an outcome, take a deep breath and consciously choose to let it go. Remember, letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting in the process of life and allowing things to unfold naturally. As Louise Hay often said, the point of power is always in the present moment. Many people struggle with adopting this new mindset of allowing rather than pursuing. It's natural to find this difficult at first, especially if you've spent years believing that hard work and constant striving are the only ways to achieve success. One common challenge is impatience. When we start using affirmations or practicing self-love, we often expect immediate results. If we don't see changes right away, we might get discouraged and want to give up. Hay suggested remembering that change takes time. Just as a seed needs time to grow into a plant, our new thoughts and beliefs need time to manifest in our external reality. The key is to be consistent and patient. Another challenge is dealing with setbacks or negative experiences. When something goes wrong, it's easy to fall back into old patterns of negative thinking or frantic pursuit. In these situations, Hay advised to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of getting upset when things don't go as planned, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Trust that every experience is helping you grow and bringing you closer to your desires. Remember, it's normal to find this approach challenging at first. Be gentle with yourself as you learn to shift your mindset. The key is to keep practicing, even when it feels difficult. To illustrate the power of Louise Hay's teachings, let's look at some real-life success stories. Sarah, a 35-year-old teacher, had always struggled with self-esteem issues. She constantly pursued approval from others and felt like she was never good enough. After discovering Louise Hay's work, Sarah began practicing daily affirmations and self-love exercises. Within a few months, she noticed a significant change in her confidence levels. She started speaking up more at work, set healthier boundaries in her relationships, and even pursued a leadership position at her school, something she never would have done before. Sarah realized that by loving herself and letting go of the need for external validation, she naturally attracted more positive experiences into her life. Another example is Michael, a 50-year-old businessman who had been chasing financial success for years. Despite working long hours and constantly pursuing new opportunities, he always felt like he was falling short. After reading Louise Hay's books, Michael decided to try a different approach. He started using affirmations about abundance and practiced letting go of his attachment to specific financial outcomes. He focused on feeling grateful for what he already had and trusting that the right opportunities would come his way. To his surprise, within a year, his business started thriving. New clients seemed to appear out of nowhere, and he found himself enjoying his work more than ever before. Michael realized that by shifting his focus from pursuit to allowing, he had opened himself up to opportunities he might have missed before. These stories show how powerful Hay's teachings can be when applied consistently in real life. They demonstrate that by changing our internal world, our thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes, we can create significant changes in our external reality. Louise Hay's wisdom teaches us that the key to achieving our dreams lies not in constant pursuit, but in creating the right internal conditions and allowing our desires to manifest. By using positive affirmations, practicing self-love, and learning to let go, we can transform our lives from the inside out. Remember, this approach doesn't mean we become passive. We still take action towards our goals, but we do so from a place of inner peace and trust, rather than anxiety and desperation. We set our intentions, do what we can, and then allow the universe to work its magic. As you begin to apply these principles in your own life, be patient with yourself. Change doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent practice, you'll likely start to see profound shifts in your mindset and your external circumstances. Louise Hay's teachings remind us that we are powerful creators of our own reality. By embracing the practice of allowing instead of pursuing, we open ourselves up to a life of greater joy, abundance, and fulfillment. So, why not start today? Choose an area of your life where you've been struggling or pursuing without success. Apply these principles, use positive affirmations, practice self-love, and learn to let go. You might be amazed at how your life begins to transform when you stop chasing and start allowing. Remember, as Louise Hay often said, you have the power to heal your life, and you need to know that. Embrace this power and watch as your world changes in beautiful and unexpected ways.